but Goldtone clearly wants to fight his boss, and I think that's a funny one-liner. But here we are, into draft, Nico ban, Jace ban, Renekton ban, nothing out of ordinary.
Will it be the LeBlanc, or are we going to see more of the Tristana coming as the counter? Okay, so don't want to counter with the Trist. Will Jungle Pool be attacked now? Or will we maybe ban some more of these things that synergize with Sejuani? Okay, they ban away the Milio. And beyond, what is your last ban here? I wonder what they're going to go for. I feel like you could just target ban something, or alternatively the Maokai. There's still a lot of other jungle picks up though. Maybe you want to trade instead. I think maybe just target ban with this.
Just have a laugh and ban the Gragas?
I honestly don't think it's bad to do it, because you know, if Goldtone is that much better on it, a lot of these like mechanical misexecutions have cost them before, but Maokai is that final ban. It leaves Vi, Sejuani, and then the Wukong below that is those premier jungle picks, and we'll see which one Goldtone prefers, or if he even prefers a jungle pick at all. I do like the Ivern. I'm surprised we haven't seen any Ivern.
I honestly just want to see Goldtone play a champion that he's put thousands and thousands of hours into.
Okay, so Annie is the first pick. So once Nico and LeBlanc are gone, it kind of drops down to those other mids. Jace gone as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see an Azir or something play this game just as we kind of work down the mid lane tier list. Ooh, there are the Mandarin signs.
All right, better late than never, or maybe it's better never. Well, I guess we will never know now, but Kai'Sa is hovered here. It would be Betty's third game of it. He has looked really, really phenomenal on that champ, although it's switched over now. Jax will be locked in.
Will it be Jax Sedge?
Ooh, I think most likely, right?
Yeah, seems too good not to take. You can then take your mid laner on 3, and I wonder what will Goldtone's response be to that. Alternatively, maybe they do just want that Kai'Sa for Betty. He has looked so good on it. And maybe they're not too worried about Sedge being taken away. The Jace and the Renekton are gone, so it would be something like a Sedge Cassante coming in. Or Kongyue, you know, he's here to enforce his probably best champ, the Wukong.
Yeah, definitely looks like his best champ just off the eye test. And I mean, you want to be on comfort, I feel like, and Sejuani, Wukong, it does seem Sejuani is a bit stronger, but team compositionally, Wukong can have his place where he is just the better pick. So we'll have to see how the rest of the picks really go, as now it's Kai'Sa the hover. They are going to take that away from Betty, so we're going to have to see Betty on something different this game. Wouldn't be surprised to see him pick it up before the bans.
This is a good Gragas game. I think they should play it.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
If he sticks to meta though, I don't think you'd pick the Sedge now, probably.
I almost feel like if you do pick the Gragas here though, it just goes top against the Jax.
Yeah. Hey, maybe swap Goldtone in top lane. Ooh, Poppy. So this is probably Poppy jungle. I think it's an underrated pick, to be honest. And now, beyond, I think they probably will match with their... Ooh, I was going to say take the AD. Lots of answers into Annie, but maybe instead just want to pick up this Gragas mid. Or it could just be a hover, I suppose. But I think... Ooh, never mind.
Now, this is the second time in a row Goldtone's going up against the Gragas. Likely to be mid this time instead of top as it was yesterday, but we will now head into the second phase bans. There is no AD carry picked yet for Betty, so perhaps maybe you look towards banning away some of those. Gragas can go mid, can go support, but is better mid, you'd have to think. Isn't likely to be ever really pressured by the Annie.
That will mean those top lane champs can be taken away. I wonder if there is potential of that Poppy going into that top matchup and playing up against Jax. I have to say it's unlikely, but it's possible. Rakan, now the takeaway. Don't want to give that combo over to Betty and Karazu. Very good on those champs. As last ban should be another top laner I would expect, but really answers into Jax are running out if you're not playing the Poppy into it. I'm not sure what we're going to see here.
Could be Sion.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You can just go the Sion and accept you're most likely to lose the lane.
Ooh, so they banned Sedge. So they're definitely respecting, I think, the Poppy flex. I suppose there's potential that was a Sedge top ban, but I don't think it was that likely. So I think this Poppy probably remains a flex, and they're mindful of that. Even without the Rakan, Betty's going to pick up the Xayah, makes him very safe. What season are we in? Xayah versus Kai'Sa?
Season 9. We've gone back to Season 9 with the most classic. I believe at least the last half of Season 9 was entirely just these two AD carries. I think they are more of the fun AD carries to watch. Yeah. You can really display your skill on both of them, so I don't hate a meta that involves these two, as opposed to, like, what did we have? The Zeri versus, who was it? It was Zeri
Yumi versus Lucian Nami.
That was it, yeah. That was pretty boring. Hey, Nars the lock-in, so it's fairly even into Jax. You often see Nars get the advantage. You often see Jax's get the advantage.
And Nautilus could be the pairing here with the Kai'Sa. So now last pick, Karius, will he go for something like the Renata? Or do you think he just matches with an engaged support? Currently hovering the Leona, would be able to follow up the Wukong nicely.
I feel like the Leona doesn't do too well against the Poppy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it though. Just Karius seems to really like this sort of style. But I think you're right, there might be a better pick there with the support last pick. They value though just having a very strong composition, and I think this is probably the most playable draft I've seen Hellpigs have so far, but it really still just comes down to execution, right? They have a comp that wants to skirmish, and you know, in the games they've played so far, Hellpigs skirmishing just hasn't looked like their best, but maybe they can turn things around here up against Beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to hope so. I think there is good chances here, although I do prefer the Beyond team comp personally.
Yeah.
I think this Gragas should have lane pressure pretty much the entire time over Annie. Although Annie has the range advantage, the sustain Gragas has, as well as how much poke he can do off. I guess it depends on runes. We could see the Nesty Ignite, Electrocute Gragas. That would be pretty exciting.
It would. Now, is this the Gragas sustain nerf patch? I can't remember if it's this one or the live patch. They made his passive 8 seconds to 12, but I can't remember which patch it was on. But it makes a big difference for the laning phase, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but
either way,
I'm sure that in any case, Annie doesn't really offer that much damage, so I feel like in any case it is probably just going to be fine, even if it is a 12-second sustain.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a hard champ to move out of lane no matter what, and Annie, not the most lane-dominant champ. She's good in lane, but not to the level that you can push Gragas out. And got confirmation it was patch 13.12 that the Gragas sustain was nerfed, so thanks production for that one.
Alright, gonna head in very shortly. Now, if you are Hellpigs, I mean, we haven't really seen a point that they can really play through yet. We've kind of seen the whole map collapsing for the most part, but if you are, just based on nameplates, where do you think they should look towards to try and take advantages here to get their first win of the week?
I'm not too sure. I feel like ganking the mid Gragas is pretty much impossible. Ganking the Xayah is not super easy either. Maybe you can look towards that top side.
30 seconds.
Cool, level 1. Yeah, I mean, bot does have like a lot of ganks up. Maybe you can get a kill on the Leona. I think mid is pretty pointless though.
Yeah, Gragas very difficult to try punish. Yeah, I think there is a lot to be said about this top matchup. If one does get ahead of the other, it often leads to that just being the case for the entire game. But here we have a graphic. It is Kongyue's 200th PCS game.
There's quite a few of them. Wonder how many have been on the Wukong. Certainly looks very fearsome on the champ. Lakai, he's going to get a little bit of info up here, but can't actually drop a ward. It looks like Godtone is going to go solo start the Raptors, looks like. Might be solo starting the red as well. Let's see what he does. Ooh, he's moving back towards those Raptors. So once again, both junglers opting for the solo start. And this is... Godtone is spotted out, or at least the side is spotted out, as that ward is dropped on his blue by Lakai. They know he's probably starting on the bot side. Could be siding the walls, I suppose, as level 1 trade does come out. Just a little bit of damage traded back and forth, but Godtone, where's he going to go with this? Hook lands on the carriers.
Yeah, not a lot of damage can be given back, and it is currently Hellpigs with quite a large health advantage down in the bot lane.
Does feel pretty nice. Can they do a lot with this, though? I mean, maybe if Godtone does his red and then comes bot for a dive, he could be, but would be trading off his top side to do so. Not sure how easy it would be. And Godtone, is he skipping his red? He is. So he did Raptors, Krugs, Wolves. Is that a path? I don't think it is.
Not one I've seen, but this man's getting creative.
I'm going to let him cook. Let's see where he's going with this, but that's really different.
It is. Maybe he's trying to keep it up because he might want to look for a bot gank and have that apply the slow with his passive set up for a Nautilus hook. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe, but
that's a
just seems
stretch.
so inefficient. He's
should
gonna
be
shot
spotted
on the
out.
blue. Are they gonna? I wonder if they'll know.
Yeah, if someone
they
looks,
should know. Yeah.
if someone looks, they will notice he does not have red.
Yeah, they're gonna be so confused by that.
They
but-
definitely will know now.
Yeah. Look,
Kai
I think
not
he'll be
letting
able
him
to
have
force
it.
him off.
Godtone running for his life, actually.
And I think this blue should reset. Oh, it does. Disaster for
Godtone
Godtone.
is in a bad position now. Will not be going down, but that's blue buff gone. He hasn't got a red buff yet.
He hasn't got a single
And
buff
I
yet.
think he was let to cook for too long.
He was. This is not a path, ladies and gentlemen. Adiox, he's getting some nice trades on the 1-1-6. Maybe that sustained nerf is coming into effect.
Oh,
Bot
things
lane.
down bottom lane. It looks like Kyrus might have landed that Zenith Blade and chunks IC8 down a whole lot. So what looked really good for Halpigs at the beginning of this lane has quickly shifted over in favor of Beyond.
Yeah, and I don't think they're really going to have a lot of jungle pressure either. Godtone will now get his red buff, but the... Wait, he's skipping his red buff again.
Yeah, this is gaming.
I don't think he can get this either.
No way.
He's going to try, though. He wants it. But he's not going to be... Oh,
Yeah, it should
wait,
be.
maybe he will.
1-1-1-6 should be able to get down, but yeah, he is going to get that.
Okay, he manages to snag the crab, but he's done so much running around. Is at 16 CS to 28 on the Wukong. And so much of this, I think, is just from that really inefficient path. Even now, I think he's going to go to his Raptors before the red, which you kind of have to at this point. But how often are you getting your second spawn of Raptors before you've taken the buff on the side you've started on?
Yeah, this is really, really odd. I really want to know what his game plan was, because if you're not taking red immediately, I mean, it's the best sort of jungle camp there is to sustain yourself throughout your clear. But if you're not taking it, then when did you plan, and for what did you plan to take it for later?
Yeah. Now at least Tide has got himself a nice little CS lead in the bot lane. Even has an extra longsword as a result. So if there is a place for Godtone to play around, it could be around that Kai'Sa. Only has a Ruby Crystal though to the Sheen longsword coming through from Kongyue. Definitely don't want a jungle skirmish, but if you can look for something on bot, would feel good. Have the pink ward here. How's the wave looking? Wave is going to be pushing towards the side of Hellpig, so Godtone, I think he does want to look for something here.
Did maintain his flash in the skirmish earlier, so that is very important.
Has got his red buff, to his credit. Now, looks like this ward will get taken out. Godtone can probably move up to this. This will be a 3v3.
Oh, Xenoblade lands onto IC8. Godtone is here first, but he is going to get stunned up rapidly. Flash away, and he is critically going to be able to survive that.
Able to survive, but that was a play that they really kind of needed to have happen. I am glad that they walked away from it. I think the fight probably wouldn't have gone well given the jungle item disparity. But ultimately, your Poppy having to use Flash defensively really isn't what you're looking for. And this feels pretty bad, I think, for Hellpigs. You know, giving over this first drag, it's fine, but really it's about the lanes, right? I think the Annie, Kai'Sa, and the Na are all doing pretty well in their respective 1v1s, but Godtone, he's wasted a lot of time and hasn't been able to find a way into this game just yet.
Okay, so Dragon picked up now full Beyond, already at an early advantage. They are actually behind in gold. So I guess that is possibly somewhat out of first strike of this Annie, as well as slight CS advantages in a couple of lanes.
Yeah, just slight CS advantages across the board other than the jungle is, I think, landing this ever so slight gold lead. Not something really to write home, though, about. Now, Herald spawning in another minute. Taco, he's getting pretty aggressive here with that level advantage. Hasn't based yet, so we'll have a pretty big item advantage when he does. Probably wants to time that around the Herald, and maybe Godtone. He's in that top river, kind of looking for something, but still hasn't found it.
I was hoping Beyond play that like I do in my solo queue game and just sit there.
Now, 40 seconds on Herald, and he's got some pretty solid items for this. Big item advantage over the Gragas, actually. And that's maybe a way that they can win this skirmish, is if Annie Adiogs can put down enough damage. Tide as well. He's doing well for himself down here. Up against Betty, who looks like one of the strongest AD carries in the league right now.
Yeah, Beyond should get first recall here, so it should be Kyrus arriving at the Rift Herald before IC8 has the chance to. That could sway how a Rift Herald fight looks. I imagine this will be Leona walking out topside from base.
It looks like it will be, yeah. Kongwei, he hits level 6 here. Godtone actually has managed to get level 6 as well, which is pretty important. He's going to have to cross mid, though. And Gragas is pretty ungankable. I think should probably just not waste time and walk across. If they burn cooldowns on 116, I don't think they can kill him. They're going to try, though.
Does manage to land the grounded, and the ult will be used from Poppy, but nothing comes from it.
Yeah,
as you said, it's just too tanky.
It feels like a big waste, and I think now, I mean, they still have the anti-ult, but it's going to be harder to contest this. I'm surprised this didn't get started up, because I think this would be a good window for BYG. But maybe they just don't want a 50-50 the skirmish. I mean, Jax is in base, and that could be why. They just want to wait for Lakai to get back. If they can get Kara's level 6 off this mid wave, he's got it now. Puts them in a good spot to fight this.
It does IC8 get 6 as well. You have to think they should be relatively similar in XP.
Now they're going to start this up right now. Looks like they will. Lakai's returned to lane. And IC8, I think, is going to have to walk back bot. So they're going to try maybe trade something on bot side. Godtone needs to hightail it down there and try punish this Xayah for being weak-sided. If nothing happens, though, BYG, they're going to find themselves in a pretty decent position here. Yeah, it looks like Xayah is being forced away from the tower. So nice play by Hellpigs to know, okay, this Herald is gone, but we can at least trade something bot side.
IC8 really far push up there. Does have to be somewhat concerned.
This is good, though. Hellpigs increase their gold lead more. Herald is a bit of a future investment, so the gold lead right now might be a bit misleading. But I think they really did what they could to trade there. It's a nice amount of CS going on the Tide. 1 damage away, I think, from getting that extra plate. Kongwei is spotted here on these wards. Is entering in here, and is he going to clear the pink? Maybe not. Doesn't have that bot priority, so it could be pretty risky walking up to it. And I wonder where he will drop this Herald. All plates are currently up for the blue side still. Actually, only has been 1 plate taken from Hellpigs in that bot lane. Very close to grabbing themselves another, though.
Things are all looking, as you'd expect, really up in the top lane. Nah getting a little bit of an early advantage, but if remained even, it should be Jax who starts to be a little more threatening. Adiog's getting chunked quite heavily by 1116 in this middle lane.
116 is doing a good job. And he doesn't have any movement speed. I think she has the magical boots. It's very hard to dodge these barrels.
She definitely is in range of dying if
if she ever uses E.
Can, yeah.
He's fiending for it. There could have been a Gragas combo there, I think. Maybe looked for it.
Ultimately, Adiogs will be happy to just recall. We'll use that teleport. It is unleashed now, so shorter cooldown. IC8 spotted out though.
And Shiv now grabbed by the Kaiser. Luden's completed here by the Annie. A little surprised it's not the Leandri's Rylai's build. I think it would be good up against all these melee champs, a lot of health stackers as well, but maybe as that solo AP just wants to be able to bring some of the burst. Although, AP from Kaiser as well.
Yeah,
Can't forget.
Kaiser might be going AP.
Yeah, we'll see where she goes from it. I feel like every time you go the Shiv, though, you do normally go the Nash's Rage Blade. Or even the Luden's after if you want it.
Ooh. Oh, nice combo there. Adiogs has to flash away. Kongwei not able to connect with that Cyclone. Godtone, though, looking for that Poppy ult. Isn't going to connect, actually. Instead, stuns up 1116, and it is Keres who picks up the first blood there onto Adiogs.
Oh,
Ball turnaround. IC8 not able to land that stun before Keres flashes over the wall.
Ooh, okay, so Hellpigs, they're going to be the ones starting up the Dragon. I think they can do it. Right now, Betty is in base recalling, so it looks like they are going to be able to take this one away, but I think questionable skirmish there from the side of Hellpigs. Adiogs managed to get out, and I wonder if maybe the Poppy ult hadn't been channeled and he'd just gone in. Maybe he could have saved his Annie there. We'll have to take a look at the replay, but 116, he's getting this tower very low. Can't quite get it now, but we'll probably get it not too long after. So let's take a look at how this happens. So initial combo on Adiogs is very good. The Everfrost, I think, is slightly late, and that means he's able to flash away. But either way, I think if Poppy sits on Annie here with the W and probably doesn't use the ulti, or even just use the ult for the knockup, it's probably much better. Instead, Annie's just comboed out for free. And there isn't any damage here really coming from the Poppy, so I think it could have been played a little better, and maybe they could have traded at least 1-for-1. Still managed to get a couple flashes out, though.
Yeah, not the worst outcome there, ultimately.
This tower should get picked up pretty soon. If that gold can go to Betty, to be first tower gold, would be really nice to pick that up. A lot of plates have gone down very recently. 45 seconds left before they're all gone.
Okay, now 1 dragon apiece. It is going to be obviously 3 minutes until that. I think next objective will be the Rift Herald, and you have to feel like Beyond looking a bit stronger in that fight as things stands currently. I wonder how much Nah has to spend. He will be able to complete an item, you have to feel, but...
Yeah, must have himself a lot of gold.
What more could he get after that?
Okay, now, at some point, Hellpigs, I think, will have to give up this tier 1 mid tower. I think this is probably the way that happens with their Annie recalling. And that's going to be a lot of gold going into Betty's pockets, especially if you can get the solo gold on it. So it looks like he will. And a minute on this next Herald. Maybe they can defend the tower. It looks like they'll be able to. Meanwhile, blue buff is being looked at. Kongwei's starting this one up, and I'm not sure he'll be able to stay around long enough for it. Let's see if he can. They have a lot of vision, so it looks like they will be able to take this away. Really, though, it's going to be in a bit of that lull state until that Herald spawns, and then we should see a bit of action. Topside vision does go the way of BYG. They want to get in here, get more aggressive, knock down this tier 1 if they can.
You have to feel like this wave, they should be able to get it with the pressure 116 is putting on the flank there. Oh, isn't quite able to connect with that solar flare. Actually, IC8 turning around and trying to go in. I think that might be a bad decision. He is going to get absolutely annihilated by that blade caller. Next up is Kyrus, who does get found, and it's Adiox on the flank finding Kongwei. 2 kills found here for Hellpigs.
Yeah, really, really nice trade back there from Hellpigs. I think especially Adiox, who found the flank there on the Annie, did a great job. And I wonder what more can they get off this? Can they break the tier 1 in mid lane? Can they get that Herald? Because you need more than kills. You need to be able to take some objectives. It looks like resets will come through, so ultimately they don't get anything more than the kills, although the kills are certainly better than nothing at this stage of the game. In BYG, initial setup I think is very good. You see people on the side lane, so you know you can take this tower. I think maybe just overreached a bit too far. Let's see how it went down though. To Tide, he's trying to keep this up, but he can't. I think it started with the Leona ult, followed up by the Gragas engage. I think at this point it's still fine, but it's when the Annie TP flank comes in and there's nothing left for Betty here. Probably needed to be able to kite upwards, and the problem is Lakai doesn't have TP up, so it's always going to be a 4v5, which ended up going in Hellpig's favor.
Certainly did, and now we have Kongwei starting up this Rift Herald. I have to feel like that's likely to end up in a side lane now. Try and break open the map a little bit more. Should set them up better for these objectives as we head towards the 20-minute mark.
Now, yeah, 1 minute on this next drag. Both teams, I think, should be very poised to fight this. Really strong in the skirmish here for both teams. Just 2 big brawling comps. And I think it really does just come down to teamfight execution. For me, I think big focus should be on Adiox, who has the flash, and importantly, importantly, Betty does not have the cleanse. He has Ghost.
That is very true. I think in general, it should be hard for Annie to get onto Betty. Even with that flash, it's not the easiest job to get through the Gragas and Leona. As long as Betty's positioning somewhat wisely, he should be okay. But if he does get hit by the Annie ults, as well as the follow-up of the likes of Nautilus ult, can be in a lot of trouble.
And Betty's itemization, they're very Chad. No defensive to speak of. No cleanse versus the Annie. And the Poppy as well. Herald is going down mid, which feels like it's just to secure this dragon. Hellpigs, though, they're trying to chase out Lakai.
Yeah, Lakai's in a bit of trouble. That is Annie ult used early, and this teleport looks a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Taco is going to come in with Mega Knight and instantly jump over. Oh my goodness, every teleport's just getting immediately flashed away from. Godtone ult doesn't use it, so it will be back up in just a couple of seconds, but health advantage in general here to Hellpigs.
A lot of ults missing, though. Need to be careful.
Oh, nice Gragas ult onto IC8. He should just be absolutely annihilated, and he is. Now it's Kira's flash Zenith Blade lands onto Adiox. Godtone, though, splitting it up for a little bit. He is trying to take what attention he can as Lakai now flashing it, teleporting in even. 1116 should be able to find a slow onto Adiox. He's at least cornered him off, and now it is Lakai jumping over and finishing that one. As Godtone finds a stun now, it is going to land onto Betty, but he should be going down as the Featherstorm comes through. Lakai comes through as well. It is going to be tied down. All that's left is Taco. It's 1v5. A lot of low health bars, and his Meganar has now popped.
Oh, they're going to try it.
He could outplay this. It would be pretty exciting. Immediately, oh, he is not outplaying this. He got CC chained until next game.
Unfortunately so. And without those Merc Treads, just get CC'd up forever. And with that, it's a clean 5-0 and a second drag picked up for BYG. Now really starting to run away with the game. Betty sitting at 4-0. Exactly the person you want the kills on at this point. And it really felt like Hellpigs maybe overstayed their welcome. They used a lot of ults to try to pick Lakai. They couldn't quite get him. Probably should have left after that, or at least waited for the Meganar. Instead, they turned back to the Dragon. Beyond say, you know, you're not allowed to do this. We'll play for the engage. And it was a nice Grag Assault from 1116 that started it all off. We'll get a replay of it. Say look for Lakai, which I think is not a horrible idea. You know, they get good chunk in him. I think this is all fine. You could probably still fight at this point, but I think after Meganar gets used here, I think now you probably need to walk away or at least buy some time here as the Hellpigs. But instead, they sped it up, and I don't think they want to start drag here. I think you need to play this slow, wait for that Meganar to be rebuilt. Instead, you know, they played for it and they don't have any damage left. You can't see it here. They're just all cleaned up, right? There's no damage coming through. Betty is full health the entire fight. But TP came through. This is the longest replay of all time. Really nice barrel here, by the way, to just keep this guy off. Really intelligent placement there. Godtone tried to look for something.
Just
really
no follow-up.
Yeah. They just don't have enough left at this point. And you almost thought that Taco would be able to do something here, but he just got CC'd up forever. And that's the enforcer on your screen there.
That absolutely is. I think, at least to Taco, it was Kira being the enforcer. He just walked up as Leona queued him, and that was that.
And I do believe that Annie died. As we're going to get Taco caught out on the sideline. I think also Annie died. We got a little picture-in-picture on the bottom left at some point there. And I think Annie was killed by Gragas? No, maybe by Jax. I'm not too sure, but she went down somewhere. Now 1-3. Looks like she is going for that Riley second, but beyond, they're in such a commanding position now. If they win another team fight, should be the Baron immediately after.
Oh, this is going to be this tower going down as well. Now, yeah, map control really in the favor of Beyond as they're looking to get the bottom inner as well. That's a lot of gold as well as map control given to Lakai. Although the fight has started, Kongyue with a really nice clone, going to get himself out of that. It's now IC8 the focus as Godtone hits everyone away as he gets hit into the team. Betty trying to find the damage, but it's turned around. Godtone has lived on one, eventually goes down as Betty finds himself too.
Can they turn towards the Baron here? I think they can. They've got the jungler available, and Betty has a lot of damage at this point, sitting pretty at 6-0. And I think that should be the Baron going over. TP does come in here from Lakai, completes the back cleaver as well. And with that, you kind of feel like this is probably this game done here for Hellpigs. Maybe they can find a way back in, but it's really up to Beyond to wrap this one up now.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That is the Baron secured. As we have a fight actually coming out. It's going to be a Cyclone use. A lot of damage given over. I'm not sure what Hellpigs are thinking. Taco's still running forward.
I wonder if Hellpigs thought that the Cyclone wasn't up there for Kongyue, but he just turns around and forces Tide's Flash for free, which doesn't feel too good. We'll get a replay of what went down here. So Betty is getting very aggressive onto Tide, and they did have a flank here, you know, coming through from the Nautilus, but it's so hard to do anything to Zion. It feels like going on anyone else is almost a complete waste of time. You can see the Featherstorm comes out nice and early, and suddenly, you know, what threat is there really onto Betty? He's just free hitting in the rest of the fight once again. I think the Annie ult here as well, used onto Leona, really strange. Betty does not have cleanse, he does not have ult. You can even just use it on him to zone him out. But instead, I think, yeah, really weird target priority, especially because you've built out Ludens. You know, you've built for killing squishies. Why are you ulting the Leona?
Yeah, Lakai playing extremely dangerously here. It's going to be the ult committed out of Kai'Sa, but Lakai finds to get away. Now Taco is going to be under pressure. Pops the Meganar, jumps away. Both top laners nearing death. Ooh.
It does go wide. Would it have led to anything though? I'm not too sure.
I think look towards 1116. He really has started off most of the fights recently with some really, really good barrels. Ooh. Gets hooked up. Has another barrel. It's going to land onto IC8, but there isn't any damage to follow through with that.
A top tower is slowly being chipped away. And I think if you're Beyond, you probably just ignore the Dragon for now. Try and keep up the pressure with the Baron.
Oh, IC8 flashes in. So does Godtone. Both rooted up. Both Cyclone. What an explosive start. But it's Kongyue getting a bit too ahead of himself. He does go down. 1116 is in the base now. Lakai slowly edging towards this top side. Decides against it, and wow. Hellpigs find themselves a bit of breathing room.
It was a nice little pick from them there. That's going to shut down this Baron a lot and force Beyond to go back to looking towards this drag. And this could be a dragon that Hellpigs want to contest. Kongyue won't be up for some time. I think initially this is super good for Beyond. You know, they managed to disengage from this completely fine. They get a little bit of chunk on the way back in. I think Kongyue flashing forward, though, probably isn't it. I don't think he has any Merc Treads, so the Annie just takes him out in no time at all. And with their jungler gone, with a lot of those ults used, they don't have the means to keep Hellpigs off them anymore. We return to live, and it's now the BT on Betty. So that guy, I don't think he's dying anymore.
Yeah, he hasn't died yet. It doesn't look like he's going to.
I feel like so many of these games just come down to which ADC ends up carrying the fight at this point, you know? A lot of the other roles, they still matter at this point, of course, but it's really ADC main character syndrome at this point. They're both just so strong.
It does feel like Betty is quite a bit stronger, though, at the current state of things, at least.
Yeah, there's a whole item up almost.
It also just feels like BYG are able to deal with the front line in general a lot better than Hellpigs are.
For sure, yeah. Now, Dragon was picked up, so 3 drags to Beyond. They have a 10,000 gold lead as well, but I think without the Baron, it's going to be pretty hard. The Kai'Sa Shiv wave clear makes it very difficult. If they could find an engage, though, or maybe if they could finish off that top tier 3, it would be kind of nice. And I think now, you know, despite Kai'Sa having a lot of poke, it's pretty irrelevant into the BT Xayah. You can just tank every W and heal it up, and then your team won't get hit at all. So it looks like some of he's doing it.
And Beyond have 4 Merc Treads now, so even the CC that can come through isn't going to be as meaningful as you'd perhaps like it to be. So things looking hard here for Hellpigs. Not really sure what their angle is at the moment.
Oh, I don't know. Do we want that?
Looking for Betty, but IC8 now definitely not where he'd like to be. He's just going to get absolutely eliminated. Adiox, Tides goes in, looks for Betty, who's going to flash away. Will be fine to sustain back up with the Bloodthirster, but it's 1116. He finds Godtone. Godtone's not long for this world. In fact, he's gone down already. Now it's 3v5. There is no Baron, but the wave clear isn't that strong. The Kai'Sa doesn't immediately clear the wave, and we're starting to get to work on the mid lane inhib.
I don't think they're going to be able to do it. That Shiv wave clear is so annoying.
Taco's jumping forward.
Ooh. Now I'm just going to be able to disengage from it, but I think for now, those towers will stay, and the Shiv makes it so hard. You can wave clear from so far away. Baron now, though, spawning in just a minute, and Betty, he's 8-0. Did lose both his sums that fight, though, so maybe there is a window for Hellpigs to look to punish him for that. Should probably grab a stopwatch, and ICA, I'm not too sure what we're looking for here. There's no Baron up in anytime soon, so you don't really need this ward anyway. And I guess just feels like he has nowhere else to go other than to hook aggressively, but you just kind of know he's going to die from that point on. The Xayah is too strong. So I think it's just Hellpigs kind of being too aggressive at the wrong time. I like Tide going for this, though. Managed to get Betty's flash. Felt very good. And another flank from 1116. Feels like he's just so good with these Greg assaults every time. They're just so on point. Sends Godtone to the Wolves, and they gobble him up.
Yeah, well, as we go back to live, it should be fighting for control over this Baron. 15 seconds left until it spawns, and you have to feel like Beyond should be able to pick this up, or at least start a fight around it and win it fairly handedly.
Yeah, Betty has the stopwatch now as well, so that one winner to punish him feels like it's closed already. Maybe you can look for something here somehow. And I wouldn't be surprised to see BYG just start this up. They do it so quick, and I think the team fight should go so far in their favor at this point.
I definitely tend to agree with you on that. Lakai, though, first of all, getting some pressure down here in the bot lane. He has Zhonya's now, so even he can be so much more disruptive in these fights.
Rageblade was just completed by Tide. It's pretty strong in his own right, but unfortunately Betty just has 8 kills on him, which is a bit strong. And now Baron has started up. Really shouldn't be long for this world. Hellpigs, I think this is probably your best chance to fight something.
Ooh, Ediog's going to be forced to flash. That's actually a massive cooldown. As you said, no summoners on Betty. So flash being taken away from Annie makes his job a lot easier. As we've actually just got a flank. Lakai's looking here. Who will he look to go on? It feels like Tide is the target. He is going to get stunned up, but cleansed immediately as Kongyue now looking. Comes in, Cyclone will land. Does he have enough damage? Tide away for now. Actually finds a snipe as the team fight looks pretty back and forth, but Betty is still alive. Betty is full health, and he is doing everything he needs to do. That's Taco flashing away. So again, 3 found. It is 2 found in return. Importantly, both junglers are dead, but with Tide having a recall, this should be a couple of objectives being picked up.
I think they might even be able to... Oh, can they play for the end? Maybe not. I think the Shiv wave clear is too much. But they get an inhib, which does feel good. They're going to try find more, but I really think with the Shiv, it's not really possible. So they do back away, and I think these fights do kind of look close, but at the same time, if Betty never goes down, they're not actually that close. As long as that guy's alive, he can take out 2 or 3 members just by himself, and wasn't even close to going down there. Hellpigs, I think a fight around the Baron could have been good, but once they pull off it, really do need to disengage. TP comes in from Lakai, who can buy a lot of time. You know, with the stun here and the stopwatch. I think it actually might be a full Zhonya's. Funny thing, Gragas got ulted out and TP'd back in. Kongyue, he got a lot of disruption in the back line, but does get taken out pretty quickly again. Probably needs more MR, maybe a more or Spirit Visage or something could be good for him. Going alive though, it's a Dragon for Baron trade.
Yeah, kind of questionable. I feel like Beyond didn't have to trade that.
At the same time, though, with this Baron, you have to feel like they should just be able to clean it up now. They know if they get that Baron, they can shut down the Shiv wave clear, and there's just no chance for Hellpigs to win a straight-up 5v5.
Now, Betty did recall, though, so it's going to take a little bit of time off of this Baron, and it looks like Kyrus is recalling too, so not really timing their recalls as you'd probably like them to.
I suppose they just want to play it sort of slow and steady, and just take a look at Betty's items, man. Like, what are you going to do to the Xayah? She's about to have both Psalms, full build, has a stopwatch. It just feels like such a tall order at this point.
Yeah, Psalms off cooldown. How do you find her? You can't really Nautilus ult her.
No,
because either she's too safe to need to use ult, or she just ults.
It's pretty hard, and you got to get through that front line first. You know, the Grags and the Jacks last a pretty long time, but maybe they can find some poke beforehand. As this tower, I mean, with the Shiv wave clear, they can thin it out at least. Just one auto attack on this will clear it though.
Oh, it is actually going to force that Feather Storm, but it is going to be turned around. Gold Tone's really, really low. It's going to be found. 1116 does use the Zhonya's and manages to find a lot of damage onto Tide, who flashes away from the body slam and finds one back, but it is going to be now 3 versus 4 in the base. Baron up minions for BYG, and they're starting to work on these Nexus towers.
I think that should be it here. There's only 1 creep available, so maybe they can back off, but it's not long until more creeps come.
Tide, oh, Tide looks for the damage, doesn't quite have it, and now Bloodthirster should be able to sustain him up. Kyrus manages to land the Zenith Blade onto Taco, who just explodes, and now it's going to be 2 versus 4 for the end here. Beyond got 2 minion waves. Tide is still alive though, and he has to do something miraculous to pull this back.
He's going to try.
Looking, and it's going to be Goto stunning him up. That's 1 kill found. Betty though just needs to hit the Nexus. All you need to do is hit the Nexus here. It looks like he's going to get some KDA first, but does have to be careful. Lakai's not having any of it. He does end the game. It is Beyond. Maybe a little bit slower than you would have thought, but they do get it done.
They do, and Betty, he was having a blast that game. Ends at 14-0-3, so I'm sure he was very happy with that. And I want to say, you know, while Betty had a very good game, I think credit to Tide, really played well himself. So both AD carries